My name is Daniel Robinson. I attend AC Flora, and I'm planning to major in geology at the College of Charleston.
Good job.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm still searching for him. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming in to this morning's Q&A. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. My son Daniel went missing in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona on June 23rd, like I said, while he was performing his duties with his job at a well site. That morning, he left the Phoenix area, Tempe area, actually, and headed up towards one well site that he completed earlier that morning. Then he went to a second well site where he met a worker from a company called Weber. That worker met him on Sun Valley Parkway in Cactus Road area outside of the desert, off the main road. And when they met there, they talked for a brief second. My son followed that worker into that desert. To the well site where they had a brief conversation for about 10 minutes. And from that point, my son waved off to him. It was told that my son waved off to him and where he was never seen again. To date, I'm still searching for my son. I've been searching for him physically since the 26th of June. I've been out here in Arizona searching for my son. My family and myself, we're very devastated to not knowing what happened to Daniel. As many of you know, that Daniel is the youngest of his other siblings in his household, and he's majored in geology. Like I said, he came here to Phoenix, started his life off, doing things for his own self as an adult. He came straight out of college, and he decided to, come here. He started a job working for Matrix New World. It's also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. There, like I said, he worked as a field geologist. Is also called a hydrogeologist. On July the 19th, almost a month later, after we went searching for my son, his vehicle, his Jeep Renegade, was found in a ravine about a little over 3 miles away from that work site. That vehicle was laying on the side. The clothing that was on the ground, my son was wearing his safety vest and everything that was on his body, down to his underwear and his sock. Inside this vehicle was the cell phone, the very cell phone that my entire family, we were calling for almost a day, a little over a day, before it finally went dead and started going straight to the voicemail. Also inside his pants pockets, which was turned inside out, was his wallet. Everything that was inside his wallet, we don't know if he had any money, but everything in terms of his credit card and things like that was in his wallet. So To date, we don't have any really good answers other than some of the answers that I have had performed myself. As you know, I started my own investigation from day one of getting here to Arizona. I was able to talk to the coworkers. I was also able to talk to the worker that was at the well site with my son. The one person who started this whole narrative about what happened to my son from June the 23rd. So been here, like I said, fighting for my son. Started this Q&A. This Q&A design is to give you all information about my son's case. Also, is there to give you an opportunity to ask questions if you have questions. So I definitely want you all to ask the questions this morning if you have those. A lot of people have a lot of interest in this case. As you know, my son's case went national. It was, featured on places like CNN to MSNBC, Red Table Talk, Dr. Oz, and some of the other ones. So, we also have the things where people have CrimeCon coming up, and had it Kendall Ray and her husband Josh show the Mile Higher. So, different things like that. The Grizzly, Gizla K with Grizzly True Crime. This story about Daniel has been traveling all over the place. So, but at the same time, it's not getting out enough. Saying that's why I started my own distribution of flyers, and also not just the flyers, but also putting the banners up and the billboards and things like that, and try to do everything I can to bring awareness to my son's case. Because as you know, if you don't talk about your person, your loved one that's missing, don't go anywhere. The law enforcement not going to go out there and talk about it. So, of course, because they have to do an investigation, if that department is doing that investigation. But at the same time, as you know, I have been even pushing the department to do more. Saying to go find my son. I think that department should be doing a whole lot more than it have been doing, and I've been pushing ever since. And sometimes you have to do things yourself. So thank you all for coming in this morning, and coming into this Q&A. I'm feeling a little different this morning, so if you got to just bear in with me. Okay, I thank you all for, let me see who I got here, Oklahoma, for coming in this morning. Also, let me see who else I got down here. +2, this is a Q&A, so if you guys have any questions or things like that, please feel free to ask those questions. But all I ask you to do is please put the word question there first, followed by your question. That'll help. Also, the big capital letter Q or a big question mark. That also helps. So if you could do that, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you, Lois Strickland, for being here from North Carolina. I really appreciate you coming in again this morning. Thank you, Mr. Short, for being here this morning. I'll see you Friday for Friday's Q&A. Mr. Short, he'll be on. Mr. Short is the logistics and search coordinator for my searches, and he will be here to talk. We'll be here to talk about this Saturday search. We will be having the search this Saturday at 6:45 a.m. For those who want to come out and help. I'm really calling out for those who came out last summer to help us out there in the desert. There's a lot of people I haven't seen your face in a long time. I would love to see you again. I really appreciate the hard work that you have done last year, coming out to the searches at the beginning. So I wouldn't even had a search. Would have had a search, especially in the dead of summer. A lot of you came out when it was 118, 120 degrees out there, and you've been out there. I'm really grateful for all that work you've done. I'd never forget you, your labor of love, and it means a whole lot to me and my family. So you come out again, I'd love to see you. YMS, thank you so much for being here this morning. Karen Lee, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you. Also, Amber Reynolds for being here. God bless you for showing up this morning. Thank you, Latoria, my best friend's daughter. I'm really grateful. Every time I see your face, I'm grateful that you come in and coming to the Q&A this morning. I really appreciate your father coming out from South Carolina to be here by my side. So I'm really grateful to you and your whole entire family. I love you all, and I hope I see you all when I get back there. Also, Kata, thank you so much for being here this morning off of the YouTube. Karen Lee, thank you for being here this morning off of YouTube. Also, Kathy, thank you for being here. I've known you for a long time. I really appreciate you being out here. Love and peace to you also. Teresa, thank you for being here, coming out this morning from the YouTube channel. Thanks, Sophia. Thank you so much for coming out, and make sure you're working and for working the questions, the chats, just working the chats as a moderator, and also for all your hard work in the background as a team member. So I'm really grateful you being here this morning to help out. So God bless you. Also, Tub 883, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you, Shauna, for being here. Thank you for being a team member also, and all of your work that you're doing in the background. Of course, I'm grateful to see you both, you and Sophia, being here this morning to help out in the chats. Thank you, Brooklyn Michelle, for being here. I really appreciate that. And that's right. We are coming up to that. Next week is the fast and prayer for everybody who have joined in last time on the fast and prayer. I really appreciate it. We will be doing that again. And fasting and prayer, it means a lot. It makes some changes. I know for a fact that the last time we had that, there were some things that happened that I know that God has stepped in to do. Some worries that I had there, but you know what? At the same time, I had my faith, and with my faith, that's why I'm still here. That's why I'm still here right now, talking on this Q&A, because of the things that you guys have done when you came together the last time we had that fasting and prayer. So we're asking for more. We're asking more, asking God to really step in and bless. So if you come out for on the 20th, it'll be on the 20th. We have the fasting and prayer for Daniel, and also for those other families who have similar situations. They have missing loved ones. There's a lot of people out there. Thousands of people every year have missing loved ones. Fortunately, in my searches, we have recovered a few people. So the blessed part is that somebody has some type of closure to their family, what happened in their family. So again, thank you, Brooklyn Michelle, for being here this morning. Karen Lee, again, thank you for being here. Curious, Forever Curious, thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate it that you're here this morning and on this Q&A from YouTube. Thank you, Jennifer. Sosabi, thank you so much for being here from the YouTube. If I say your name incorrectly, please forgive me. I apologize for that. I have also D for being here. Thank you so much for coming in for the YouTube channel. Let's see who else I got here. Tisa Phil, thank you for all your hard work you do in the background. I really appreciate you coming out again this morning to join in with me on this Q&A. Also, Tanya Beth, thank you for being here this morning on this Q&A. Let me see who else I got here. Hildy, thank you for being here this morning. Shrieking Sharon, thank you for being here this morning. Thompson, thank you for being here. Thompson Team Films, I really appreciate it. Saying I love the Grizzlies too. So thank you for being here this morning. Jennifer, thank you for being here from the YouTube. I have a lot of YouTube people here this morning, so I'm really grateful for you all coming out. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you for being here this morning from YouTube. Thank you, Kim, for being here. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you coming out. Patty McDowell, thank you for being here this morning. And off of Facebook. So thank you for coming in on Facebook. Tia, thank you. T and Wildflower, thank you for being here this morning. Again, I think I've seen you one time before, and I really appreciate you coming out again. Rachel Arnold, thank you for being here this morning. Good morning to you. Also, Gwen, thank you so much for all the hard work you do in the background, and thank you for being this moderator and having my back on many things. So I really appreciate you being here this morning. And if you all can hit that like, share, subscribe button, that really helps out with the algorithm. Again, I really appreciate you all for doing so, because I made it to that 1,000 mark. I'm waiting to see all the work with some of the benefits that comes with YouTube. When you get to that mark, I'm able to utilize a lot of tools that will help me get Dane's story out a little farther. So I'm really grateful. It's been a total blessing that you all have decided to do that for me. The like, subscribe, and share. Definitely share. Share is very important. That's a very important event for me because that I've been working hard trying to get these flyers out, distributions, and and get the word out this period. So if you guys continue to share, that definitely will help a whole lot. So just keep on doing that and helping with this algorithms. I really appreciate it. Also, I want to mention real quick on the bottom of the screen, you see an anonymous tip line there. Please use that tip line if anybody know anything or heard anything about my son. I'm sure somebody's out there knows something, and it's okay. It's okay to. And I am an advocate, and I am pushing that for you to go ahead and share. Go ahead and share on that tip line. That's why I pay for the tip line is for anonymous and non-anonymous tips. I have live operators there 24 hours, 7 days a week. They'll take your call. Like I said, you can stay anonymous if you like. If you don't want to talk to them again, half of you already know you don't have to talk to anybody. You can just text the word tip to that tip line and scroll on the bottom of the screen there. And you still can become anonymous if you like. So if you don't want to talk to anybody, but if you want to talk directly to me, I can tell you that you can use the number that's scrolling on the bottom of the screen. However, it's not an anonymous tip line. It's my public cell phone. When I say public cell phone, I mean anybody can call it. That's why I put it out here on the screen. But I won't be able to provide you being anonymous unless you're using some type of burner phone. But other than that, if you want to just tell me something direct, I'm really open to that also, because I need to know what happened to my son. I've been out here looking for those answers. So if anybody have any of those answers and things like that, please contact me. Use the tip line or whatever you have to do. Even call Buckeye Police Department if you have to. So whatever you feel comfortable with that can bring my son back home. At this point, I'm really grateful if you can do that. So that's very important to me and my family. To bring my son back home to his mother, his siblings, his grandparents, his uncles and aunties, and myself. So, and his friends, just want to see Daniel back. So thank you if you can help out in that endeavor. All the information you need is on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can do things like what I have here on the bottom of the screen. Also, sign a petition. Right now, we're 112,652. Last I checked last night, I'm sure it's still growing. I'm really grateful for every one of you that signed that petition and spread your voice. Because like I said before, that petition is your voice. Is your voice is everybody who's out there who have interest in my son's case, who has my back, who's wanting to see the law enforcement do more. Those who want to see changes in the way the system is handling missing persons cases. As I told you before, I definitely I'm an advocate for changing the way they approach these missing persons cases. I talk to a lot of families who's going through similar things or worse, who's been have loved ones who've been missing for years, and each one can tell me the stories that almost sound similar. It's the problem that we have at the beginning. It's the reporting time. I literally knew my son out of that 6 hours. I knew my son was in trouble. Something wasn't right. But I called the department to let them know that, and they told me I had to wait some additional hours. I had to sit around my house and walk the floor and wait those few hours out before I was able to call back. Now call back and report them missing after that 12-hour mark. So, and that's a problem. And the reason why that's a problem because every minute, every moment that goes by, that ticks by without that person being sought after means something. Had they would have gone out there, the Buckeye Police Department would have took off immediately. Just took my word. Before the crazy part is they didn't even talk to the co-workers yet. They just took my word and said, "Mr. Robinson, I believe you. This is unusual for your son. We need to go out here and find him. He's, whatever the situation is. Some people call Daniel's situation handicap. It's not. He never approached it that way. But however, he is from South Carolina. He's not indigenous to that desert out there. It was strange for him to drive. I mean, any officer, any father would have looked at that and put some urgency there. Outside of, I'm really grateful for Officer Cruz, who took the liberty to ride up and down Sun Valley Parkway. I didn't know what it was at the time. I was really grateful for that. But actually, I found out that my son was actually missing in the desert area out there in the remote area. That's when I started asking them to go out there to search. Of course, they couldn't do it at night, he said, because it was night. Somehow I allowed that to happen. We're not pushing it really hard. Just wait till the next morning that they said it was going to go ahead and put a helicopter early in that morning. So of course I didn't get sleep. But like I said, if them guys would have started immediately, we probably had a bigger or different outcome. I think it's probably, I believe really strongly that we'd had a different outcome. I would have known what happened to my son a long time ago. So, or where he's located. So, like I said, for each family, so my advocacy is to, like I said, get these laws changed where a family knows, instead of them sticking with what I felt as a father, they went to go ask questions with coworkers, they say, and make their opinions or their decision making on how important it was for them to go look for Daniel based on coworkers, then his family. So, so I want to make sure that, that don't happen to other families. So I'm a very big advocate for that. So you guys could please sign that petition. That helps a whole lot to get that advocacy going, because, I do have a foundation that's coming up, working on that day. Matter of fact, that's why I'm dressed now. Have a meeting this morning concerning those foundations. So that foundation, and so I will be still working on that type deal. So you guys can please bear in with that and pray for me and my family on that, the Daniel Robinson Foundation. Saying we will try to do some good work for other families also, along with the situation that's going on with my son. So, look forward to that. And also, like I said, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That would definitely help out with this channel right here to get more information out. Again, I have a question here from Tia Wildflower. Thank you for this morning, coming out this morning to be part of this Q&A. Your question is there any information out there that you want to correct for us? There's a lot of information out there that I want to correct. That's the reason why I have this Q&A. If y'all hear anything that sound kind of weird out there, because I heard things, believe it or not, it may sound kind of odd and strange, the words they like to use lately around here. One of the biggest things that was strange for me was my daughter came to me one day crying, one of my twin daughters. She was gave me some link to some page some guy making. He's a YouTube creator, I guess. That's before I knew about YouTube and too much about what YouTube do. Because like I told you before, YouTube to me was just a tool around the house. Hey, how to do something, saying how to fix this engine, how to put up this wall painting or something. I'm just saying, that's what YouTube is good for in my view. Before Daniel went missing, and she came up to me and said, "Hey, Dad, you got to check this out." She was crying about it, really upset about it, and there's some guy on there talking about that I'm a federal agent, so kind of I work for the government, not federal agent. I work for the government, and that Daniel's not real, and all kind of crazy stuff. So. This guy had a whole YouTube channel about it, had paperwork. He stopped the film when I was doing interviews on TV and say, look how his head moved to the left. This means this and that. And I mean, he have thousands, almost 1,000 upon 1,000 of followers. So, it amazes me that some people take the opportunity and time to make things like that, especially with a grieving family. And so I did say my little words to the comment section, but things like that are out there, misinformation, on events. Like the misinformation that I do want to clear up is I never did say to the police department that Daniel was in love with a woman that he didn't know. That's one thing I found out this year that was in that report. It was in there the whole time. Somehow I missed that every time. That would never ever came out of my mouth. Some things that my daughter said also that was she said it wasn't true. She's upset about. So we asked them to remove those things off that report because it's not true. It's false. It's not facts. And so that's one thing for sure. I did not ever tell that police department that my son was in love with a woman that he didn't know. My son had never described that to me in our 2-hour conversation before he went missing. Just days before he went missing. I think it was 2 days before he went missing. And he never described anything of having a love or any kind of strong light for anybody. So for all that stuff is false. I don't know why they want to put that there and want to drive that narrative so hard and even to the point of lying on me as a father and my daughter. I don't know why, but that's what they have in their report. So some things like that, most of the things I would like to correct will be in that report. So so that's the answer to your question there, Tia Wildfly. And thank you so much again for your question and coming in here on Q&A. That's what the Q&A is all about. If you guys have questions and you want to clear up something, that's what I'm here for. If it's questions that I can't answer, especially if it's one that's involving my personal investigation, as far as I know, the Buckeye Police Department don't have an investigation. Anything they say investigation is just words, just a whole bunch of words. Because like I told you before, I don't have a banner behind me. I had moved little things, so I'm going to get that corrected. But I can tell you that, that's just words about investigation. 'Cause I have everything that they claim that they had to have. Things you have to have. You have to have evidence, right? To even have an investigation. What you investigating on? What you investigating with? So these guys haven't done any forensic work in the scene. They don't have the vehicle. The vehicle was given to me the day after it was recovered from the accident site. So where the vehicle was found. And for you to have an investigation going on, that is very crazy to not be able to have done forensic work outside of the forensic work I asked you to do, which was just fingerprinting that I requested in a meeting a few days after it was recovered. Outside of that, that's no investigation. So like I said, in my opinion, and knowing this department have not done any type of investigation and not doing any investigation. They have a case. Investigation to them, in my opinion, was involving going to ask questions at a Waffle House or a gas station and get some kind of footage, and pretty much that's it. It goes farther than that. I can tell you that myself, and then when I got my investigator also, we did a lot of going out and do a couple times, did a lot of following leads. Saying I don't know what leads. And this funny part is one of the leads that we followed. I hear Buckeye came to me about a lead that we already checked on months before he came to me and said, "Hey, we just checked this lead out that happened in I think it was in Sedona, one of them." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, we checked that lead out 2 months prior." So they're way behind on things. That's the way they're approaching my son's case. And like I told you before, I don't have the confidence there anymore. So that's the things I want to clear up. So if you guys have anything you want to clear up. Thank you also, Barry, for being here this morning, working in the background, also being a moderator and also being a part of the team. I'm really grateful for your hard work that you're doing out there. So God bless you. Help me find my son. So God bless you. Thank you. Thank you also, Lisa, for being here this morning off of YouTube. Thank you for joining in. If you have any questions, please feel free to do so. That's what we're here for. I really appreciate it. Also, Brooklyn Squad, real life drama. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Good morning to you. Thank you for your prayers and your support. I really appreciate you being out here this morning. I'm assuming from Brooklyn. Okay, so you guys have a YouTube channel. I'll try to read some of your comment there. Thank you so much for coming out and being here with us this morning. I would like to know the name of your YouTube channel. I guess that's your new YouTube channel name at the top. Thank you for being here this morning. Also, Shelby GC, thank you for being here and for your prayers from Georgia. Really grateful for you coming out this morning to join me in the Q&A. Also, Gwen, thank you so much for putting information out there on the upcoming searches and everything you can. You want to know about what's going on, please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. All the information that I speak about today will be there on that channel, on that page, on that website. So if you all can, please visit pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Tell you how you can come out and help in many ways. So I'm really grateful if you do that. Also, thank you, Oklahoma, for being here this morning. God can move mountains. You're right about that, and I really believe that. So, that's what the fast and the prayer is all about. It's about having faith, and also it's about ourselves. Saying we do things in myself personally, being obedient to God's will, and I know that He'll help me find my son. That's what I'm out here for. I'd rather that my son not missing, and I was at home somewhere enjoying my retirement. And being home with and listening for Daniel's phone call. I'd rather be on that phone call right now with Daniel for 2 hours and having our conversation. And I'd rather have been here last July, seeing my son's vehicle for the first time that he's showing me and riding it and driving it, things like that. So I'd rather be doing that right now. If I had my way, we'll be down in Florida, saying or stuff like that. Like I told you before, I'm an ocean guy. I like to be around water. And but God can move mountains, like I said, and I'm still not giving up on my son. I do have the desert searcher. The desert searcher suggests that I'm looking for my son, not as a rescue, but as a recovery, which is true. After this many months, it'd be ridiculous for me to think that my son is walking around that desert surviving without any clothing on. So I definitely, that weather is very treacherous. You got wild animals out there to whatever. It would be ridiculous to say. So yes, I am doing that, but at the same time, I have my faith, and I know, that I really believe that God will somehow make it possible that Daniel is still out there somewhere alive, and that I'm going to find him and bring him home with your help. You all are a big part of that. I took things by faith. God, I put everything in my vehicle, drove up here, didn't know anybody, didn't know what I was going to do, didn't know how much it was going to cost, or anything. I learned a lot as I was going. It was very hard work. Just kept pushing my faith, keep going forward, and I just asked. The Bible says, "You ask, you receive not, because we don't ask." So I asked, and all of a sudden, people start showing up. People showing up to the searches. I've been having my searches. People showing up to the flyer distributions, which was a city search at one point. We're going out there flying, sharing those flyers. People like yourself coming out to the YouTube channel. Has Gizzler K from Grizzly True Crime helped me start this YouTube channel. So people show up from everywhere, all walks of life, and everything they do to try to help me in my situation with Daniel. So I'm grateful for you all, and that's all about faith. It's all about my faith in God. I know God stepped in and put on your hearts and stuff like that to come out and help. So I'm really grateful for all of you who take your time and your efforts to help in any way you can. Also, thank Angelica for being here this morning. Hello to you. Thank you for being here this morning to join me in this Q&A. Also, I have the tip line here. You can remain anonymous. So if you guys can leave that tip. If you know something, please leave that tip. Also, thank you, Kaya for Rivera Peacock, okay, for being here this morning from Facebook. I really appreciate it. Also, Lisa, thank you for being here again. I really appreciate you coming out. Shrink and Sharon again, thanks so much for being here this morning. Julia, thank you for being here. And I'm really hoping so too. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's very difficult. Every day is like the first day, Julia. It's like the first day. It's very hard to just do this Q&A. I'm here for my son. I'd rather not be in front of a camera. But you know what? One of the biggest things is to bring awareness, and I have to be in front of the camera on many occasions, and that's because you have to bring awareness. You can't stay still in your home. I was even asked by someone, say, "Hey, maybe you should just sit back and fold your arms and pray, and God would bring Daniel back." Saying faith without works is dead, and I cannot sit down and not act. I'm a father. And many of you are fathers out here. Many of you are mothers. And you probably just like me. You couldn't imagine just sitting back and just waiting on a phone call, or waiting and don't do nothing, just stay stagnant and don't do anything to help find your child. Daniel's a grown man. He just turned 25 in January, but he's my young man. He's my son. And he's my boy to me, he's my son. And, it's my responsibility and my job too, and my honor to be his father. And that's being a father comes with a lot of responsibilities. It goes beyond childhood. So, so it's my job to be here. It's nothing big that I'm doing outside of that. Everybody else who are good fathers and good mothers would be doing the same as that thing I am out here doing whatever it takes. I'm not an expert. This is new to me. This is like it's probably new to you all. Some people who's following the story, it's new to me, and I'm learning as I go. I'm doing the best I can. Some people say, "Hey, you shouldn't be doing this, or you should do that." I welcome all of that, because I need to learn as I go. But I'm just doing what I think, what I know will help me find my son. Just like I'm doing right now on this Q&A to bring more awareness, because I realize really quickly that as much as I have a long laundry list of journalists to reporters, you name it, talk shows. I talk to these people a lot of times in the background. Every time I have certain little events or things I want to do, I send them a text message, say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing." And the first thing they ask, "Hey, look, they're really happy to try to help in any way they can. They're praying for me and things like that. But when it comes to their network needs something new. They need something new. They want to hear something different. Daniel's story to them, I'm sure, is boring now. It's something they already put up, all over the place. And at the point now, unless something new significant happened that I actually found Daniel in some form or fashion, they're not going to even mention him again on a lot of these networks. So I had to mention him myself. And that's why I came up. Like I'm saying, my idea for having a YouTube channel is to do just that. And I encourage every family who got a missing person out there to do the same. Create your own. You know, don't let somebody tell you how your loved one's story is going to make it out there, and people to be aware. Because I'm telling you, you missed the opportunity. There's somebody else that may be out there right now that have yet, by you guys sharing and subscribing right now, they have yet to hear about Daniel's stories out there. Because I hear people who used to come to search in the summer, like the ones I'm asking to come out now. They thought I found Daniel already. They didn't know I was still out there searching for Daniel. It's because unless that's why I have these people in the background. We send out emails and text messages. That's very important that, hey, we have searches this week. Let people know that, because like I said, word of mouth is everything. You guys sharing the story everywhere you can. That helps me out so much, because a person who may have seen something or heard something may live in Florida right now, maybe living in whatever, some other state or probably another country. So, if you guys just sharing out, social media is really huge and big, sharing as much as you can to families. That one person may say, wow, I was there on June 23rd and I've seen this. Oh, I know that, saying, and they don't want to tell. That's what anonymous tip line is for. I encourage snitching. Some neighborhoods say, hey, don't snitch. I say snitch. That's what the top anonymous tip line is for. So you can snitch without being known that you snitched. And it's okay to snitch. I know it may sound funny to some people, but it's when it comes to somebody's loved one, yeah, you need to, because somebody don't want to do the time, they don't need to do the crime, or if they have something to do with somebody's missing or anything else like that. So, yeah, they need to be snitched on. You need to go ahead and tell it. Saying that's what anonymous tip line is for. That's why I have it for. And if you guys can, like I said, share the story. There's always that one person that knows something that would say something. I really had that confidence. I really believe that, it would happen that way. Somebody would say something, and I would have an idea, a better clue to exactly what happened. So thank you again. Roxanne Bailey, thank you for being here. Thank you for your continuous prayers. I do have a question here from Esther Levy. Thank you, Esther, again for being here on this YouTube. Your question: hello, Mr. Robinson. The Buckeye Police Department police said Daniel had a head injury. Every time I look at the vehicle photos, it looks like the window screen was smashed from the outside. They say he hit it. And that's a funny thing. Yeah, if you're talking about the windshield, that's why on my next Q&A, I will have the poster back up behind me. I had to move this time. But you know what? You're right. One of the biggest things, if you're talking about that windshield in the front, there was two impressions. A lot of people don't know there's two impressions. The top metal above that windshield was dented in on the left side, and on the other side, like I said, those two impressions on both sides, as in. And the way me and my investigator at the time, my ex-investigator, we looked at it, and from his expertise, it looked like somebody took something and tried to smash it into the window. You know what I'm saying? They didn't come from that roll on that partial roll or that ravine. That's why he was saying those damages like that did not match that ravine. The little crumpling on the sides of the vehicle, certain little things, it did not match that terrain. So that windshield impressions on both sides like that does suggest that somebody was throwing something heavy or hitting it, like for instance with a baseball bat or something, to those windshields. So that is very suspicious and suspect. It's funny. It's funny to even having to say this, is to be able to look at that from even an eye like me, an untrained eye, and can see those things. But you have a whole department who's sworn to protect and have a badge and a gun that do not see that. You got one that came on CNN that said he can't make up evidence, and that was Chief Hall. And he said, you can't make up evidence. There's no evidence. We gave them evidence. We didn't make up anything. My investigator gave them evidence to suggest a lot of things. And what they did with the evidence, they shut down. They stopped talking to me because they didn't match what they wanted this narrative to remain. And they pushing everything they can to keep this narrative the same, in my opinion. They're doing everything they can, in my opinion, to keep this narrative the same. that they believe my son crawled out with a head injury, took his clothes off, and vanished in the desert somewhere. One even suggested that he joined a monastery, most likely went to go join a monastery and become a monk. So that type deal. So they have evidence. Evidence is there. Like you said, that impression on that windshield would suggest a lot of things. A lot of things about that somebody was trying to, if Daniel was driving that vehicle, was trying to get to him, or somebody who whoever had the vehicles to try to destroy it. We just don't know. So those are kind of things that I'm looking at as a father who's doing his own investigation outside of, I've been doing investigation. I want everybody to know this also. I've been doing investigation on my son's disappearance from day one. Like I said, when I got here on this ground, talking to his coworker and also talking to the guy at the well, the worker at the well, and some other little things, talking to the Buckeye Police Department, to, you name it. And then when the Buckeye Police Department, which I was trying to work with them at the time, decided with this ludicrous theory they had that didn't make sense to me, it defied logic to me. The explanations of what they think could happen to my son, it defied logics of what I've seen with my own eyes. Somebody can either teach you what you see with your own eyes, or you can actually open your own eyes and see. And I did that, and that's what required me to get my own private investigator. I let my private investigator do his job as an accident reconstructionist. That's what he specializes in. That's what he is. He can look at the damage on vehicle. That's what he does. And also, outside of that, I still was continuing on doing my own investigation. It didn't stop. My investigation didn't stop, because like I told you, I do things a way that I like to do things. And so it didn't stop. So I had my own little thing going on with other directions. So I have a lot of other people and other moving parts in this thing, not just one person. So thank you, Esther, again, for your question. I really appreciate you, CEO Nation, for being here this morning, and your support. Thank you so much. Somebody do have to say something. I really, somebody do know something, and I'm really hoping, that they actually come out and say something. That would be a total blessing for me and my family. Thank you again, Shauna, for being here this morning, being a part of the A team, and I'm really grateful for you being here. Also, thank you, Tia, again, for your question. Is a coworker who was with Daniel on the day cooperating with the investigation. Now, I haven't talked to this guy since that one time I talked to him a couple of days after my son went missing, and when I got here on the ground. But I did hear that Buckeye Police Department talked to this guy. Of course, I did hear that my former investigator talked to this guy, but nobody ever interrogated him. My former investigator even told me that he felt that this guy should be at least brought into the department and be interrogated. You need to be asked deep questions. You need to be asking all kind of questions, especially when I gave him the story he told me with witnesses now, where he told me that it was totally different from what they have in their report and what he told them. I'm not suggesting this guy did anything. All I'm saying is that, if a person was the last person that see someone that actually went vanished or whatever the case may be, that should be a little more a deeper dive into their story. Because like I told you before, when I went through, and I wish that live didn't get destroyed somehow. I didn't upload it or whatever the case may be coming out that desert. But I did a walkthrough. Of his story. And if you guys can remember, the ones who did see that live, the story just don't make sense. It don't make sense. You can't say that, for instance, one thing that didn't make sense. You cannot say that, you was able to follow my son's tracks because it was raining that day and to wash all these tracks away, right? To wash all these tracks away. But somehow magically just didn't wash Daniel's tracks away, Daniel drove off. Obviously was rainy after some time. So it was still raining or something out of other. It just didn't wash Daniel's tracks. And I can't tell you this, and just even taking to the drive-through of that, I showed you, there's tracks still there to this day. I can go out there right now, and tracks are still there in the areas that we haven't driven in a long while. After rain, and it never have washed any tracks away. So some of that question, some of that thought like that and that talk is ludicrous to me. I've been out there in the desert after it rained and the ground was still soaked wet, and nothing looks any different on the ground with tracks, and depending on tracks and things like that. Unless you're a tracker and you're getting out there tracking the ground. This man have a lot of skills. He's a guy that know how to track tracks on the ground to looking at somebody's eyes and being like a doctor and telling their eyes dilated, something wrong with them. I mean, what kind of professional is he? I mean, I thought he was just the well guy, you know what I'm saying, the guy who drilled wells. So, you know, it's things like that, you know, just don't make sense to me. Just looking at my own from my own point of view. Thank you, Tia, for your question. Lisa Glam, thank you for being here this morning. Coming out to this Q&A. I'm really grateful and appreciative of you being here. Thank you, Crystal, for being here and just for your support and coming out again. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys have any questions, please do put the question there first, the big capital letter Q, or the big word question, or a big question mark. That'll help me as I'm going down the comment section to see your question. If I miss your question still for some reason, please feel free to ask the question again. I apologize. Like sometimes I go down rather quickly, and sometimes I end up missing. So it's possible to miss your question. But if you put like this big Q here, something like that, to let me know that you have a question, that helps out a whole lot. Tia Wildflowers have a question. Has Daniel employer offered any help? Yes, they have. You know, I used to have several meetings all the time with this company. You know, the owner himself even offered an office space for me to run this my operation out of when I first started my searches. So he did offer that office space. Of course, I declined. You know, I didn't think at the time it was proper for me to have a family employee relationship that's that deep of a level. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I was more concerned about, you know, them helping by answering some of the questions I have, like I said, in my sense of my investigation. So also, I don't know if it was a job mandate or something that a couple of coworkers got together to do. But at the beginning of my searches, my first search before the vehicle showed up, I used to have a lot of those workers. They used to come out to the searches, at least about 7 of them. Used to come out to the searches every weekend to help out. They'll man the gate and things like that to help direct people in. So I was able to be grateful for their help at that time. But since then, like I said, most of them fell off except for one. He'll come every so often. To this day, that's Daniel's boss. He'll come out every so often to help out in the searches. So yes, they have been helping with the searches itself, and also with information I need. Also, the company did provide I needed to start that grid searches and things like that. So they did help provide the mapping system that I have on the pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. It was on searchfordaniel.org, and I moved it over to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. So I still utilize that mapping system to this date. So some of that stuff did come from his company. So yes, they did help in some form or fashion. I really appreciate your question. All right, Brooklyn, again, thank you so much for being here this morning. Teresa Rogers, thank you for being here this morning. Crystal, Tia Flowers, Angelica, I see a lot of people here. Lisa Glam, thank you for being here this morning again. And I really appreciate that, your kind words, and just being here. Thank you so much. Also, again, that tip line is right here. You know, thank you, Gwen, for putting that up. You know, you guys can remain anonymous. I'm still gonna keep saying it over and over again. If you can, please, by all means, utilize that tip line if you know something. So I really appreciate you, dude. This has been over 9 months, going on 10 months in a little while that my son has been missing, and you know, I need anything that can help. So any kind of information that you know would definitely be a help. So Esther Levy, thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate that. Yes. Thank you so much for, you know, I think he was speaking about the guy who's going out to put those crazy information out there. There's a lot of people, you know, I didn't know about YouTube was also used to make money. Some people do it for a living. And, you know, I hear, you know, one time ago, I used to always look at these conspiracy theories that's out there. And these people have all this paperwork, and these doctors some doctors say, and I see it, they make millions off of people's fears and things like that. So of course I could see this guy taking a story of my family's pain and myself, our pain, and transforming the way he's making money, for those who subscribe and believe things like that. So yeah, and it is sad. It's sick, and it's really sick and ridiculous. And yeah, it's a real problem for me, saying, and my family at the time, to see my daughter feeling upset about something like that, saying, and then, to hear somebody even calling her own brother not even real. It's a conspiracy, that type deal. So yeah, that's really painful for any family, not just mine, for any family that we have to go through somebody who's sick enough to be able to wear a suit and look nice and have a big platform with like a news station or whatever the case they got going on, and just to put out false information like that to people who subscribe to stuff like that. So it's sad. But anyway, thank you, Sarah, for being here this morning. You're bringing your finance to CrimeCon. I still have an active investigation on my own. Like, it's some things what bothers me the most is that some of the things I do know already that I have to keep to myself. Part of the investigation, that's what you do. So you have to keep those things. So when I get to CrimeCon, we'll be talking about some things that I can talk about, and other things I cannot. I would not be doing so. But if you are coming out to CrimeCon on the 29th, I'm really happy to see you all out there in Vegas. So if you can, you all can come out. Yes, I will be a speaker out there in CrimeCon, and I'm really grateful for them giving me the opportunity to be there. From what I understand, I've been invited out there, so to be a speaker. So I really appreciate them. Like I said, give me the opportunity to share my son's story. And that's again, what I'm saying is there's a lot of families who don't get that opportunity. So, I'm definitely grateful that God allowed me and my family to get this opportunity to share our loved ones, his story. He's out there. I want to find him. If he's not out there, I still want to find him, out there. So, stuff like CrimeCon and getting that story out like that. Like I say, again, it's still part of what you guys are doing right here, sharing and subscribing and, doing all of that. That's a bit hard work, and it's an effort. It's something I can't do alone. Only thing I can do is ask. I can do the work that I need to do, as in, like I said, get out here every morning. A lot of times it's very painful, but to be on here every morning, the times I do come on this Q&A and talk, and try to do whatever I can to find ways to get this word out. Last night I was sitting here trying to figure out a better way of messaging through the YouTube channel to get more participation, things like that. So just to try to get the word out, more people, the better. The more people, more voices, and things like that. So yeah, it's so CrimeCon will bring out a lot of things to help me in that endeavor. So thank you for your question, Lisa Glam. Again, thank you for being here, and don't forget again to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Let's see who else I got here. Shrink and Sharon, thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. You coming out here. Thank you for being here, and thank you for putting out that information. I really appreciate it. Yeah, if you see something, you hear something, or remember something, please, by all means, say something. We are really needing that. Thank you, you knew also for being here, like I said this morning, and being a significant part of helping out there in the chats, and also everything you do in the background, your passion towards trying to help me find my son. So I never forget all the hard work you've been putting in too. So thank you so much. Also, Forever Curious has a question. Thank you so much for coming out with your question. Any misinformation videos on YouTube, leave no comment. Instead, hit the flag icon and report to YouTube as misinformation. And that's a good idea. When I have heard that from my daughter, I heard it's a lot of things happen with this whole experience. I'm just a guy who retired out the military, and I didn't never think in my life that my young son, would end up missing. And I never thought that I would have to be looking at YouTube and to talking on some TV news channel or whatever case may be, just to try to find my son. So I never ever had imagined that in my head. Like I said, my life was pretty different. It was outside of YouTube experience and things like that. So, seeing that for the first time and seeing that kind of information, this guy was putting out, that was really it was new to me. I didn't know how to react to that other than to let this guy know how I feel. You know, it's very sick of him to even do something like that. You know, it takes a sick mind to be able to look at some family's pain and then make a whole big channel about that pain and twist it in that way with paperwork and this and that and cutting film. And I mean, it was awful. If you watched that, I wish I can remember what it was. You can watch that. You guys can understand what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. But, you know, like I said, I didn't know about, you know, leaving the flag icons and people get flagged. I didn't know about this channel now that some content I had to constantly, and I've been given the content from producers that I do interviews with. Hey, look, Mr. Robinson, you can share this on your website, to your social media platform. I get flagged all the time now. Now I know what flag means. I get flagged all the time by the algorithms saying, hey, this is, you know, you can't use this. Basically, it's copyrighted or whatever the case may be, and then I have to challenge it and put the person's name who gave it to me, and then they clear it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I had to keep doing it constantly. So I'm just saying, so I just learned a lot about social media, how it's working, and things like that over time. So yeah, thank you so much for that advice. If I was to see that again, definitely I would definitely be you know, putting that flag up there, because, you know, misinformation is a bad thing. It's really a bad thing. There's a lot of it out there. We don't need that. So thank you. All right, thank you, Race Girl, for being here this morning. I really appreciate you coming out. Also, thank you, finding Alicia. Thank you, and I will keep the faith. And oh no, you say you have a missing daughter. You know what? And that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that, Alicia. You know, I know your pain. I know how you're feeling right now is very difficult. I don't know when she went missing. Hey, matter of fact, if you want to, you can please put my number up here again. I would like to hear your story, your daughter's story. If you can contact me on that number below. I'd like to hear more about your daughter's story. I understand if you don't want to talk, and I know the pain of that. But if you do, you know, I would love to hear your daughter's story. If you could share that with me. I can't really see the picture too well on the icon, but you know what? Definitely, if you can do that, I really appreciate it. Like I said, I know your pain. I know how hard it is. Just like I said, to any family who's going through the same situation, please just don't give up. Don't ever give up. And please, whatever you do, don't allow yourself to just take somebody telling you something just wholeheartedly without asking questions. Ask a lot of questions. One thing I can tell you, just please ask a lot of questions to, you know, just make sure you stay on top of things. And I really hope your daughter is found really soon. That's very, very, very hard. You know, and that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people like yourself and like myself that I talk to all the time that's going through similar situation, and it's never easy. It's never easy. It's never easy. Yeah, I know your pain. Just please, if you can, I would love to you know, be able to talk to your father further about your daughter's situation. Excuse my voice. I start losing my voice. I get a little stressed out. But you know, if you guys can continue on, you know, sharing her story. You know, that's what we do. That's what we have to do. You know, you see stories like Daniel and Alicia's daughter. I can't really see the icon. If you guys can see it better than I can, you know, share her story, look it up, and share her story. So that'll help out a whole lot. So thank you so much. Thank you, Kathy, again for being here this morning. Thank you for your question. Have you been able to get Daniel's phone call logs? Well, I cannot. Well, I have some information about his phone, but I would keep that question. I won't be able to really fully answer that question yet, but I do have a lot of information from that phone, and that phone is currently, you know, being taken care of for getting more information. So thank you for your question. I wish I could answer that a lot farther, but yes, I'm still working on a lot of things on that phone, and not just that phone. Another phone that's also been found in the area where my son went missing, where his vehicle was found. So thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you so much for your question. All right. Again, you know, I had to go back to that Alicia's daughter. And see, that's what I'm saying, you guys. It's a lot of families out there that's hurting really bad, have a lot of pain, and they have to suffer, And a lot of people don't understand, or probably do understand. But I can tell you this: it's not easy when you have a loved one, especially a child, um, missing. And I won't say just special child. That's anybody you love is missing, because it's that thing of not knowing. Is That's the problem. Not knowing what happened. And then sometimes you feel helpless. You feel helpless and hopeless, don't know what to do. Like I said, when I got here to Arizona, I didn't know what to do. I came to my hotel room, and I didn't know who to turn to, or only person I had at the time was the Buckeye Police Department. All I had at the time was trying to get in contact with Daniel's job. Yeah, it was rough. I feel really, really hurt for that family. So I hope she get in contact with me. But on that question, Kathy, I do have some information about that phone, but I'm still working on it. So thank you for your question. All right, Brooklyn Cord Cutters TV, Justin for Daniel. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. I do have a question from Brooklyn Michelle. Thank you for being here this morning. Are there any updates on FBI involvement, and have you met with Daniel's employer recently? I haven't met with Daniel's employer yet. I'm still waiting on the owner of the company to be able to get this meeting with him. I don't need to talk to the workers. I need to talk to the owner. So I'm just waiting on him. He's a busy guy. The wife who owns the company, I'm sure she's a very busy woman. I have yet to meet her. But I did. One thing I can say, that company did do a big donation. I forgot to mention that when Daniel first went missing. So I was really grateful, and I did remember sending the owner her a letter, a thank you for their donation in the past. So that company did do that. I do have had meetings, like I said, in the past, but I'm still waiting on a meeting currently to be set up with the owner so we can discuss some things. So, but as in the FBI, I'm still working on that. There's some avenues that I'm waiting on some answers back. I did have some things going on right now concerning that. Excuse me. I can't believe that. But anyway, have some things concerning that. And I really have faith. I really have faith that the FBI will be in this case sooner than later. I have a lot of reasons to say that. There's a lot of things working with my team in the background. Like I said, these are hardworking people. I have a team in the background that works really hard. We work every day. Like, we're hard. And I'm really grateful to have that. Like I said, when I first got here, I didn't have anybody. I just had myself and my daughter. And my daughter and me, and we used to go around, and Gwen, she used to be out there help too. But to go out and out there and didn't know anybody, and I used to come get my daughter, and we used to go out and, like I said, for instance, go look for Daniel's vehicle to talking to the Buckeye Police Department. I didn't have anybody, so at this point, yes, the good part is I got to a point now where I have a team, and with that team comes a lot of things, good things coming out of that team, and we are putting some things together now to ensure that we should be able to get that participation of the FBI and working on those things. So thanks for your question, Brooklyn Michelle. I really appreciate you being here. Also, Life's Fast. Thanks for being here. A person cannot walk in the desert without shoes. It's Rocky stickers and hot sand. Yes, very much so. We have volunteers that have shoes on, and they end up stepping on one of those cactus with those big hard thorns, and they come up in the shoe. So on the sidewalls and things like that. So you can imagine trying to walk that terrain with your bare foot. So you got to watch where you're stepping. For instance, you can't step on a big cactus or kick against the big cactus or something like that. Yeah, you get in some trouble. So long story short, with that, that's really definitely ludicrous. Like I said, for me to believe, it'd be crazy for me to believe my son is still walking out there almost 10 months later, surviving in the desert with no clothes on, no shoes on, and just walking with the nature or something. No, that's almost like a suggestion that I was given by that department. Hey, look, your son probably had this severe head injury, had a brain injury, and that's what making sure it closed. And he just went on off and hit on a tree where he probably succumbed to his injury. End of story. Now you can go ahead and go home. We give you our theory. We don't need to go looking for him. And he's that's what happened. That's what we believe what happened, and we're gonna stick to that. That's my opinion. That's how it was given to me. That's how I take it. And like I was supposed to move on. No, it don't work that way, because you know good and well. I'm not gonna keep repeating that over again, but we know that good and well if it was an officer in the same exact situation, my son, how this whole thing would be planned out right now. So, again, if you guys have any questions, please use the big question mark, red question mark, or the word question before your questions, and that help, or a big capital letter Q. Excuse me, a big capital letter Q. That helps out a whole lot to find out. I'll find your questions as I'm coming down the comment section. I'm getting close to the end of this Q&A, and because I have a lot of things I do have to do this morning, but I'm really grateful for you all coming in. I do have Lakeisha for being here. Thank you so much, Lakeisha, for your hard work and everything you do. We're passing out those flyers again. I keep saying that every Q&A. Excuse me, because you're constantly doing that for me, and I really appreciate it. And you're doing it for Daniel. I know you will say that you're doing it for Daniel, and I really appreciate you doing that. Excuse me. You're doing that for Daniel, and I really appreciate it. So, all right. So, thank you again for being here. Race Girl 8803. Thank you so much for being here again, and thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. I do have a question here from T. Sophia. Thank you, T. Sophia, again for everything you do. The question is, any indication that the area being developed where Daniel was working is facing critical water shortage. In Daniel's job as a hydrogeologist, do they also look at the water levels? And they do. That's his job. That's what we do, look at the water levels to determine if that, like you said, there's 100 years of water flowing through there. From what I do hear in the Sonoran Desert, there's some water shortages issues that spans all the way to California. So, I do know that's a smart city, and I'm not making no bad suggestions or anything like that or some theories. But what I'm saying is that is some development that is coming out there. It's supposed to be a smart city that's coming out there from the Howard Hughes. They want to develop. They've been trying to develop that area ever since the 80s out there. And that's from my own research. I had to not only do out here look for Daniel, but one thing I had to do about this whole thing about Arizona, at times on my free time I had to do research. I had to do research and try to learn as much as I can about Arizona, about that desert, things like that. And I do know in the 80s they was really trying to develop that land. Even the Sun Valley Parkway was called the Road to Nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It just stretched it out, and before they had Surprise out there, they called it the Road to Nowhere. And so they had problems all the time trying to develop that area out there, and one of those reasons could be water shortage. I don't know, but I know now. I've just been up there a few days ago, out there in the desert, and I think it was like 2 days ago. Those guys out there building trying to build a new well. They built one. They was building one a couple weeks ago, early part of this year, and also they working on the second one. So they out there trying to get this development going. I don't know why they had to go through that second one now, but I'm sure there's a reason they had to keep tapping in that ground trying to get this water source up. So yeah, it could be a water shortage out there, and if there's a water shortage, of those, like I said, they can't build that 100 years of water. Oh yeah. Say they had to shut the project down. So, a lot of people have theories out there. Daniel may have discovered something that whatever the case may be. I hear a lot of theories. I really don't know about those theories, but I look at everything. Like I told you before, in my investigation, I definitely don't rule out anything. Anything is possible, so I don't rule out anything. So the only thing you can do is check out plausible leads, things that's plausible and make sense. You have to, be able to make sense of those things. So thank you so much, T. Phil. I do have thank you so much for being here. We will find Daniel, and you're right about that. We will find Daniel, Saying it's a team effort, and I'm glad that you all helping me do so. I do have a question from Life is Fast. The question: did Daniel have a necklace or ring that could have been fallen off, be picked up by a metal detector in that area where his clothes and socks was found in the area where he worked? That's a good idea. I wouldn't know if Daniel had. I know he probably most likely didn't have a ring on his finger, but it's possible for him to have a necklace or something like that on. I can see Daniel wearing something like that more so, but he's more so of mood type things. You know what I'm saying? Bracelet, I guess, so you could say. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. So metal detectors was being suggested to me early part of this my searches out there in the desert last year, roughly August or whatever time frame, been suggested, and we were trying at the past trying to get people out there with metal detectors or try to purchase those things ourselves. Like I said, everything I was doing out of the desert mostly is trying to make sure you budget, and you just can't just rush off and just buy things like I wanted to, like with the drones and things like that. I've been wanting for a long time to do a proper search of certain areas to get farther out with these specialized drones and stuff. I'm utilizing my money. I'm utilizing GoFundMe money, and I had to be careful the way I spend it. One of the things is to be here as long as I can. I don't know how long it's going to take me to find my son. The other part is to make sure I have an effective search out there, and also effective what I'm doing here right now, getting out information. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot of resources, and I can understand how those departments. Y'all saw how big it was in the summer. They say the case that caused Daniel case to go national. How they took thousands of dollars. I mean, $150-some thousand a day looking for a murderer out there. I mean, there's burning resources. Every time I hear these officers say, "Well, we just don't have the money. We don't have the funding." It's kind of funny when they want to do something they want to do. Oh, they'll pull money out of nowhere. Wherever they get it from, they'll pull it out of there. In my case, they didn't spend money on my son, but they did spend money on that accident reconstructionist that they want to say what they wanted to say, in my opinion. So they pull out money anywhere. But anyway, yeah, as in for the metal detectors and things like that. Yes, I really need those out there too. So I'm probably be working on that pretty soon, also with those searches, and maybe you can find some clues and things like that. So thank you for that suggestion. Also, we having that fast and the prayer on the 20th. That's now next Wednesday. If you guys can join me and the team, and we're definitely going to be doing that. So, like I said, it's very, very helpful. It's helpful for us as an individual, and also help in terms of getting answers that I need. I really have faith in that. I have faith in God. I'm a believer in God, and whether you believe in God or not, or you believe in fasting and prayer or not, just doing it together in unity, doing something. Doing something to show solidarity and unity, and when people do things together, I really believe the strength that comes behind it. And not only that, I believe that fasting and prayer not only helps, what I believe in, but it also helps the person who's an unbeliever. It helps you as an individual because you're doing something for somebody else outside of yourself that make you a better person. And I encourage you all to please join in this Wednesday coming, next Wednesday, on the 20th, and join in with us on that fast and prayer. I'll be talking about it coming the end of this week here, coming up to the first part of the week. Sunday, I'll be talking about it more. You see that information on the website, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. I'll be sharing more information about that. Thank you, Terry C., for being here this morning. I really appreciate you coming out. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I tried to read your comment a little bit. Let's see. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for being here. If you all have any questions, please put the word question there first, followed by your question. That will help me find your questions. And I'm not sure, Terry, see if you have a question there. I'm trying to read it in the question form. I really don't see it in the question form. I'm really not sure, but thank you so much for just being out here this morning and sharing your time with me. Also, Chad, thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate that. Oh yeah, Chad, I think I know. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know you, Chad. All right, you you are a geologist yourself. So I really thank you so much for being out here this morning on this Q&A. I really thank your sister for all her hard work that she does for us and with being part of a team. So I really thank her for her work, and I also thank for your what you do out there for a lot of people, and utilizing your drone and things like that. So I'm grateful you being here this morning to share your time. Thank you. Also, thank you, Alexa, for being here this morning. I really appreciate your family thinking about us. Thank you for doing this from Texas, coming off of Facebook. I really appreciate your time. And thank you, and come again. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Sophia. Thanks for being here, being part of the team again. Like I said earlier, I really appreciate it that you taking your time out from your business and coming out to help. So thank you. I really appreciate you. Also, for more information on upcoming searches, to sign up or to volunteer and how you can help, please visit pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. That's where you can find all the information you need to know about the searches, to helping, to sign a petition, you name it. Thank you, Cassidy, for being here this morning. I really appreciate it, that you're coming out this morning. If you guys can like, share, subscribe to the channel, that really help out. Again, I don't want to forget that. I need to mention that every so often. And a lot of people who's familiar with YouTube and things like that, you know the reasons why. That's one of the things you do have to ask. I tend to neglect saying that sometimes because I get busy talking. And, I just know now at this point, I've been doing it for a little while now, that's very important to get that like, share, and subscribe. And you guys got me to 1,000 subscribers. And that is a miracle to me. It's a miracle to me. I mean, a miracle to me means that, you guys have been pushing hard to do that. And when you do that, that's bring more people. It gives me more room to reach more people. So thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I'm really grateful for you just doing that simple thing. Like, share, and subscribe. Something simple. And that something simple is really big. It really helps out a whole lot and got me to where I'm at now. So thank you so much. I do have Haley Chatham. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your nice and kind words. You do have a question: how long until the forensics from the inside of the Jeep come back? I haven't had, and as airbags, I haven't had those things done yet. I'm still working on those. That comes with funding, and I've been pushing really hard. And I really thank people like Kendall Ray and her husband, for putting me on the My Hire. Because with that, I'm just big platforms like that, people like that who take the time and look at somebody like me, and say, hey, that family in need. We're gonna put that story out there. They really was passionate about helping me. They reached out to me. And asked me to be on their show. They wanted to help in the way they can. And when they put me on the show, that brought a lot of resources behind. Have a lot of people who came and helped get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers. To push in the donations. The donations help. They even donated themselves. So the push and donation, and those donations will help with things of getting these forensics done and stuff like that. So I'm really grateful for everybody who donated and who's helping. But to answer that question, the forensics and the airbags and stuff, I still have custody of those things. Those things were given over to me. The vehicle itself, as you know, Haley, or may not know, was given to me the day after. Think about this. It be given to me the day after it was found by that rancher, and they said they did some type of search. It was given to me the exact day after, and they didn't even do any forensics work on the scene or anything like that. Those airbags have since been taken out by my former investigator. He turned those things over to me when he left, stopped working with me, and so I still have those things also. So. Those things would be forensically tested and all that kind of stuff. It's only a matter of time for those things to happen, but I'm working on it. I can't tell you that, Haley. I'm working on it. So thank you so much for your question, and thank you for being here. Thank you for coming in on Facebook. Really appreciate your time. Finish the race. Thank you for being here, and the truth will be exposed. That's no doubt. What's in the dark will come out in the light. I really appreciate that because I really believe that, and it will. All right. Thank you, Lois Strickland from North Carolina. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your question. Your question is, have you found any explanation for the extra miles that have been found on Daniel's Jeep yet. And no, and that's gonna come with, like I said, all that comes with the forensics. All that's gonna come with information we get about the ping locations that this department claim they can't get, or all that's gonna come with a lot of stuff. We're still trying to work on that with ping location and things like that. That's gonna be even more difficult as time had went by to get from these phone companies. But the good part is it can be done. It's just that it depends on these companies and whoever I can get, especially the FBI. The FBI can get that type deal to get those type of answers. That's why I'm pushing for that kind of answer to figure out where the cell phone has totally been. I got some information from, of course, from Google, Google Maps or whatever, and things like that, the history and stuff like that. So you get some answers, but you can't get everything. And so some of that would come with those forensics and things like that. So thank you for your question. I really appreciate it, Lois. And thank you again for being here. Thank you, D-Love, for being here. Rachel Arnold, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. All right. And as Gwen saying here, don't forget, please continue to share Dane's story. I really need this out there. You are my news channel. You all are the news channel. You are the ones who word of mouth is bigger than any news network out there. They can put something on the TV, but nobody watch it. You know what I'm saying? It's not going anywhere. Much as I've been on those stations and things like that, people still to this day say, "Hey, Mr. Robinson, they shot." I was out there Saturday with volunteers, was passing out some flyers out there in the parking lot of a mall, and I ran into some people and they were really shocked. They didn't even heard. Living here in Arizona, different parts of Arizona, never even heard about Daniel's story. So it's like that out there, and word of mouth is bigger than any news organization out there. So thank you for sharing. Amber Reynolds, thank you so much for being here this morning. The question is, has anyone thought it's weird that the truck was found 3 miles away but not seen days prior? When did, how many days, hours, the dude feel something was fishy and made that narrative? Well, according to the Buckeye Police Department, they got that story from that guy. I knew it was before I got here to Arizona, because on the way here to Arizona, I told you I've been constantly on the phone, driving on the phone. Making phone calls. That car was like an office on wheels. I was doing a whole lot of calling and texting and calling and just you name it. But I kept in constant contact with that Buckeye Police Department at the time as I was traveling up here, and they the one gave me the story from this worker, and so it had to be within at least a day or so when after my son went missing that they got the story from that worker. So they did get the story, but it is weird. It's only 3 miles away, and I'm telling you the weirdest part of that is the Buckeye Police Department claimed they did searches, right? They did searches almost 3 days. The first initial search they almost did almost 3 days after my son went missing. Like I said, the vehicle only found like almost 3 miles away from that work site. They say they did, Miss Rob, did an extensive search for your son using a Phoenix helicopter, Airbird, whatever. They came up with nothing. Then they waited a week and a half after that, and then they went with they said they had the Silver, which they did because I was there. I came out there, I surprised them, I showed up. Silver Air Patrol to come search. Now what they have in the report is not accurate, is not true. They didn't have 2 aircrafts and all that kind of stuff. I have a videotape, and I might even try to put it together and show it here to you guys so you can see that search. But they did a search nevertheless, right? Saying they did, these guys are good. They good, and they blah, 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 so on, so on. They didn't come up with a construction cone, So it is odd and strange. If you want to say odd and strange, they like to use that word a lot, It's odd and strange that this department haven't even found a human skull that my searchers found not far from that vehicle site where the vehicles initially going to be found. And they used, and the funny part about it, they say they use cadaver dogs with an S, like many of them. They use search dogs with an S, many of them, and then they come up with nothing. They say, hey, we didn't even come up with a track where your son was traveling. Something wrong with that. So it is weird. It's weird. It's a lot of weirdness and a lot of strange things that I can't say that goes on and on about my son's case and how it was handled. and the urgency and everything else. So thank you, Camilla Gomez, for being here this morning. I really appreciate your kind words, and thank you for sending those positive vibes. I need those positive vibes. You saw how I probably start off this morning. It's very hard. I'm telling you guys, it's very hard to do this every day or whenever I do it. My team taught me out of doing it every day. I was doing this every day. Q&As. Hey, David, you need to break that down. If they had their way, I'd probably have me doing it one day a week. But, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, I brought it down to that point. I do have a Q&A this afternoon for it's called Q&A Prime Time. That will be at 5:30 here Arizona time. That'll be 8:30 East Coast time, and you can adjust your time from there. But it will be a Q&A this evening. I'm doing that because that was suggested a while back, and they kind of say, hey, we mean that use one of those days to do tonight. But I say I want to do both. I want to keep the Q&A in the morning, and also do that one Q&A prime time on Wednesdays. So we have a Q&A tonight, a prime time Q&A to answer some questions for people who's at work right now who can't come on and join the Q&As in the mornings. It's too early for some people and too late for some others. So, just to have that evening time for people who want to be able to ask questions about my son's case, they have the opportunity, and also to hear me. Like I said, some people is looking for some accuracies and want to get some things straightened up. They can do so. And just for me to also to get the word out about my son's case. So I'm going to continue to do this. I'm not a guy that be doing tricks and things and running around and stuff like that, but I will be start working on some content that I want to share with you all on this Q&As. For instance, I had this, maybe go back and start talking about that well that I had searched, give you some footage and things like that involving that. So just kind of get put some things out, some videos or some timelines together, just to give you some more content for you all who come out into this Q&A to watch. So thank you, Lisa Glam, again for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you for following Daniel's story. It's very much appreciative. Let's see if I have any more questions. If not, I'll probably get ready to break this Q&A down. I do have a meeting coming up, and I will have to be getting off. And I have an anxious dog here. You probably hear him in the background. He's getting really anxious and get ready to try to boot me off himself if he can. So please don't take this question the wrong way. I mean no harm. Is Daniel's mother involved with searching for him? I haven't heard or seen her say anything about him being missing. That is a hard one. That's a hard question. And you know what? You're the first. Wow. That's a question that I'm pretty much not prepared to answer. One thing I can say is I really believe his mother loved him. Of course, saying what mother wouldn't love her son. And I do know that she was taking this very hard. So I'm sure her and her husband are doing, I don't know what they're doing, but I can say that she do have a husband at home. And I'm sure I don't know what they're doing, but, I'm sure they have Daniel in mind. I'm sure that that's no doubt about that. But as in her coming out to searches, no, I can't say no. She haven't been out to any searches or anything like that. I can't speak for her. I can speak for myself, you know what I'm saying? And it's embarrassing to even have to answer this question. But I only can speak for myself. And I can tell you that Daniel's my son. And, sometimes as a parent, I have dreams and aspirations, things I would like to do right now. But those things aside, my son is more important than anything. And, one thing about it is the way I look at it is that, you have to do whatever your heart tell you what to do. God led me to be here for my son, and I'm here for my son. And, I'm not driven by anybody but myself. I'm driven by my love for my son. And I'm just going to be here. I'm just going to be here till I find my son. So, the thing is, I do have a life. I did have a life before Daniel went missing. Daniel knows that. He knows, just all of that. But like I said, when your child is missing or your loved one is missing, that it comes to a stop. Nobody plans this kind of thing. It's hard. You can't plan it. You have no clue. one day you're doing one thing, and next day you're out here in the desert looking for your son. So, as in that question for his mother, I really don't have an answer for that one. I can't, I talk to her sometimes at Blue Moon, but I don't know what they're involved into. But all I know is that I'm here. I'm here for Daniel, and I will continue to be so here. And, not just for Daniel. Like I said, this thing is bigger than just Daniel. It's bigger than me and my family. And, it's other families out there hurting. Just there's other families like you just met this while ago in this Q&A. Another family hurting. Also, she's missing her daughter, and hopefully she do reach out to me and we can talk. So that's what mothers do and fathers do too. We go out and do everything we can to find out our child. So nobody's gonna stop me, and that is this me. So to answer your question, I'm not taking offense to that. It is hard for me to answer that question because I can understand you being I don't know if you're a mother or not, but you being a lady, assuming by your profile picture, that's the kind of question one would ask. So there's nothing wrong with your question. So I really appreciate your question. You're just that right now I wasn't really prepared to answer that because I can't speak for her. I can speak for what I'm doing here. Again, a lot of people don't know she and I are divorced, of course. We have two separate lives, so but we do have one thing in common, and that's Daniel. And I'm just going to be here for my son. So that's the bottom line. So thank you so much again for your question. Thank you so much for everything you do. You guys can hit that like, share, subscribe button. I really appreciate it. I am coming down to the end of this Q&A. I have time to finish preparing myself to get out this door because I had to meet out for this meeting that I have. So it'll be if you guys can come back if you can come back out again this evening at 5:30, I really, really appreciate it. You guys can support this Q&A this evening. So if you come out, I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get this one subscribed last week, playing each playlist, letting as roll in addition to like and sharing. Would it help to play the playlist or repeat on a repeat? Can do this each day whilst I do other things? I'm not sure to understand that question. I'm almost assuming that question is asking me because if you ask me something about YouTube, I really still learning a lot about YouTube. I wonder if you're asking me if I can put the playlist on automatic where it is constantly playing these episodes all day. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking. If so, I would love to do that. If I have the opportunity to do that, that kind of save a lot. Keep the YouTube channel just constantly rolling. That would help if that was possible. I'm not sure if that's a possible thing, putting it on repeat. But yeah, I do have a playlist there. I give a credit to Gisela K from Grizzly True Crime. She goes in and put these videos into playlists and things like that. So when I look at the channel, I see a lot of that stuff already put in these playlists from shorts that I do on TikTok and things like that. So yeah. If that's a possibility, I would ask that question and I'll find out if I'm getting the question right. I'll find out if it's possible for me to do that. And that would be a help, to keep some of these things, keep rolling over and over again to get these stories out there. Daniel possibly stumbled on something with water. Terry C., thank you for being here. Water that didn't sit right regarding Douglas Ranch. They have the 100-year certification and shouldn't have there isn't enough water. It goes way deeper, and I'm still looking into that. Again, like I said, this is Daniel's job to check the viability of wells. That's just what he does. He's a field geologist, hydrogeologist. He's a geologist. Daniel is a scientist, and his job is to do his job. So outside of that, I don't know if those have any relations to his job or what's going on with his disappearance, but I can tell you, I will be, checking to every lead and everything else, every possibility. So I don't rule anything out again. So I do have this one thing I want to put out real quick. Thank you so much for that question, comment too. Thank you, Shauna, for putting this out. I will be going to the city council meeting on this Tuesday. The location right there is on the screen. y'all, please, I'm gonna put this on tonight. I'm trying to see if the team can remind me to put this up on the stroll on the bottom. If you guys want to come out and support, please do so. One of the biggest things that bothered me the most is that I've been here. I wish I could get the days, but 9 months, right? Going on 9 months here. Since Daniel been missing, it's going on 9 months. For his 8 months, I've been here searching for my son. A few days after here it is on 23rd coming up, it'll be 9 months, right? And I've been here all this time out there with hundreds of volunteers on the ground, got billboards across the cities, from the east side of Phoenix to the west. Out here passing out flyers, got people in Buckeye passing out flyers to a police department that I've been pushing so hard to do the right thing at the beginning. And I've been crying out to these people, right? Been CCing the city managers to, you name it, in letters to Chief Hall, right? And not one time did the mayor, the city manager, or anybody even wrote me anything or just acknowledge me. Even in those letters I CC'd them in, just acknowledge me and say, "Hello, Mr. Robinson, we know you're on the ground. We are praying for you. We're going to do anything we can and everything we can to help somehow. We're going to help you find your son," or whatever case may be. I haven't gotten that. I haven't gotten any kind of acknowledgement that I even exist, you know. Yeah, CNN running down News Nation and all that, running around Buckeye asking them questions, right? Putting Chief Paul on an interview. And these people have not one time didn't even acknowledge that I even exist. How disrespectful is that? Think about that now. Think about this. And that like I keep saying over and over again, action speaks louder than words. Their actions tell me a lot. That's why I would not have anything. I'd rather not have anything from the Buckeye Police Department, anybody in that place, to handle my son's case at this point. I don't have any confidence in them. I don't have no confidence in them. I don't have no confidence in any of the system that goes around there in the Buckeye area, because look how they're treating a family member who's here on the ground and so much don't even acknowledge me. Oh, I say a lot of things. Maybe they don't like the fact that I'm pointing out the problems that they have and handling my son's case. It doesn't matter. They work for us. You know what I'm saying? There are people who are drawing a paycheck or whatever they get from tax money. They don't have that right to have their little hurt feelings or whatever the case may be. They just need to do their job. That is it. Just be the politician or whoever you are that you're supposed to be, that you're called to be. And so, one of the biggest things is, to me, it just there's a total disrespect that they have, and the I sometimes think like they think I'm a dummy or somebody. I mean, how much of a person you think of me as a man who's out here searching for his son, and so what I'm saying is, if you guys can come out and support, maybe online, if you can't be here, look it up. That's the date on the bottom of the screen. At 6 p.m. I did request to be a speaker, and I will have my 3 minutes to say what I need to say. So. So hopefully you guys can join in this Tuesday. And like I said, I'm doing everything I can to find my son. That's meaning from doing this Q&As to going out in desert searches to walking the streets and passing out these flyers to, you just name it. You know what I'm saying? Going out to city council meeting, having these meetings, or whatever the case might be, whatever I got to do to try to find my son, that's what I have to do. And that's why I'm saying, again, to go to that question to the young lady, to ask about the mother and things like that. I'm not going to expand on it too much, but what I'm saying is I can't only speak for myself as a father, and that's what I'm out here to do. So thank you so much, Snoopy, for being here. Because of the other YouTubers, thank you so much. Yeah, there's a lot of things out there that I'm still learning, and thank you so much for giving me that warning. Thank you, Lindo. And you all, thank you so much, Lolo. I wish I could go through everybody right now, and I wish I had more time. If you guys can come back and come back this evening, like I said, at 5:30, and come to the Q&A this afternoon, I promise you, if you bring your questions, hopefully I can get your questions in, and we can talk further, because I can go down this time this comment section. I'm just scrolling really fast here, and I'm sure I'm missing a lot, but I'm trying to get down to the bottom here and see if I can get one more in, and then I'm gone. But I don't see any more questions. And I may have to go ahead and get on out, because I do have to get finished preparation for this meeting I have coming up really quickly here. So again, thank you so much again for being here this afternoon, this morning, on this morning's Q&A. And I really, really, again, I love each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. You are my extended family. You're champions to everything I'm doing. You have faith in me as a father trying to find my son, and you guys have faith in me that you have been donating to support him with phone calls. I hear like somebody saying, I give you positive vibes or whatever you got to do. All that stuff is important. Prayers, like I said, we're having this fast and prayer coming up Wednesday. You guys doing that. Everything counts. I mean, literally everything counts. And I'm really grateful for you. I love you. God bless you. And I'll see you this evening. Thank you.